All right, so I fully understand that what most people want to know with exactness when they ask about how the housing market looks, or what you probably want to know if you're watching this video, is two major things. How's it going, guys? I'm Christopher McGee. I'm the owner of Halcyon Real Estate, affiliated with the Keller Williams Market Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. Today is the 4th of August, 2025. It's still pretty hot outside here in Salt Lake Valley. And this is the numbers and the nuance. This is the data set you come to in order to know exactly what Utah's housing market looks like right now. As always, I'm going to give you my bird's eye view, nuanced opinion of what the numbers tell us, and then I'll just go ahead and turn over the numbers to you. Just show you what things look like off several variables off the MLS. Always got to do a multivariate analysis of something as complicated as a housing market. Can't just take one variable or two, pull them out of the mix and tell a whole story based around that. Really got to look at everything. So that's what we do here, and let's jump right into it. All right, so I fully understand that what most people want to know with exactness when they ask about how the housing market looks, or what you probably want to know if you're watching this video, is two major things. One, what exactly do home prices look like? And two, what do interest rates look like? That's what you want to know. Importantly, there are several other variables we can look at in order to know not just what the market looks like right now and what to expect if you are going to be buying a home in the next month or two or selling a home in the next month or two, but importantly, you can just know it with much better exactness. You can know that if a home has been on the market for X number of days and it's priced at this and it has or has not dropped its asking price by X amount, that if you want to make an offer on said house, before you even talk to the listing agent, you can know what kind of an offer to make that's going to be realistic, that might win you that offer. And of course, if you're selling, you need to know what the housing market looks like right now in order to best understand how to position your home on the market compared to what's active, and taking into account what's under contract right now as well as what has sold very recently. Other than home prices and other than interest rates, there are a few interesting things to pay attention to right now. The first one is that inventory may have started trending down already. Now, normally I don't expect to see inventory trend down. As with every variable in the housing market, it's seasonal, and there's an up and down that's expected. And at about this time of year, we expect this particular data point to come up, and about this time of year, we expect it to be coming down. And inventory is one where typically I expect to see it have peaked our highest amount of housing supply around September, maybe October. And it looks like we may have peaked. The last couple of weeks, it has come down, where all it's done all year, inventory, is trend up. So last couple of weeks it's come down, and if that continues for another week or two, I'm gonna call it a trend that inventory is on its way down. So that would be very interesting if that happened already now in August, early, a month or two early from what I would have expected. Another interesting one to watch right now is what I call actualized demand. We can see what kind of demand we should be expecting for home purchases because of forward-looking data called purchase application data. So if you're in the loan or lending world, then you can see how many people are applying for a mortgage loan. I don't see that on my end on the MLS until a home goes under contract or until a home is sold. And so I'm measuring the actualized demand, not the pent-up demand, not the demand of the number of people who want to know what it would look like if they got a loan right now, but how many homes actually sell, how many homes are actually under contract right now. That looks like it is trending down now as well. We have been remarkably stable in how many homes, well, let me rephrase that. We have had a pretty level trend line of how many homes sell, and we have gone pretty far up from that trend line and pretty far down relative to that trend line across the last quarter, but it has trended at a steady about 600, and we were over that this last week. However, the number of homes currently under contract has started to trend down. And so if the number of homes under contract is trending down, then the number of homes that actually sell at any given week, that has to start trending down within the next month or sooner. And so if actualized demand is trending down at the same time that our inventory has started to trend down early, that's interesting. And the final bit is the number of listing contracts that are either canceled, expired, or withdrawn. I think this may be one of those data sets that I show because it's important, but I'm not always explaining why it's important. So people are like, there's that number, I guess, but the reason it's important is because those are three separate things. The number of listing contracts that are canceled, that means the agent got fired, okay? Number of listing contracts that have expired, that simply means that, you know, if you hire me to represent you in selling your home, I don't represent you in perpetuity, nor do I represent you until the home gets sold. I represent you technically until the term of the contract expires. What that means is if a listing has expired, it's been on the market for usually 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So that's canceled and expired. And if it's been withdrawn, that can mean a few things, but the agent is still employed and they may have just decided not to try and have their home on the market right now, or they may have decided to try and repackage it, put it back on the market a different way. All of those things are grouped together though, because they say in an overall big picture sort of way, here's a measure of the confidence that home sellers have in getting their homes sold. But this looks to be trending up, this data set. Listing contracts canceled, expired, and withdrawn. And if that's the case, and if it continues to be the case as inventory trends down and demand trends down, guys, those three things together would be a pretty strong signal for things moving in the buyer's favor. What would throw all this off is if interest rates came down in any significant degree, which makes today's report a little more interesting. So let's look right at the numbers. Okay, here's where things are in the Utah housing market as of the 4th of August, 2025. Our current inventory stands at 13,375, which is down from the previous week. Still looks to be trending up, but like I said, this has come down for 2 weeks in a row now. The prior week's average days on market was 59. That's down from the previous week, trending the tiniest bit up from the beginning of the second quarter, but looking like it may be trending more significantly up across the last couple of months. The prior week's average list price for homes on the market was $714,638. That is up from the previous week, trending very moderately up across the months since the beginning of Q2. And last week's average sold price came to $701,980. And so again, importantly, the difference between average list price and average sold price came still in the buyer's favor to the tune of $12,658. And importantly and interestingly, last week the median sold price was $499,995. So basically 500K. But what that means is that number fell a bit, even as average prices came up a bit. So there's more people having an experience buying homes at or close to 500K than there are at that average number. Good to know. Last week, the number of homes that sold came to 706, and that's a significant jump up from the previous week, and this is trending moderately up. However, when we see the data like we talked about, the data set of homes currently under contract, we'll see that we expect the number of homes sold each week to start to drop off a bit, because currently under contract we have 5,284 homes, which is down a touch from last week, and this is trending moderately down overall, as you can see. So if the number of homes under contract is dropping, the number of homes that sell in a given week will have to start dropping as well within the next month for sure. Last week, the number of price reductions that happened was 1,572. That is up from the previous week. This is still trending up throughout Q2 to present, but if you look at just the last month or so, still we see this number is kind of stalled around 1,500 a week. That might be directly correlated to the fact that inventory has kind of stalled its upward growth as well. Last week, the listing contracts that were either canceled, expired, or withdrawn came to 721. There's that first of the month spike we talked about. We expect to see that on this data set because the number of listing contracts that expire at the end of a month sends it up predictably, but even without the spikes, we see this clearly trending up. As we said though, if this number continues to trend up after a month or 2 or 3 of inventory trending down, that would be a signal very much in favor of buyers in this market. Finally, and fascinatingly, current interest rates for a 30-year fixed rate loan are 6.57%. That's the lowest it's been all year, and that is down over 0.2% from the previous week. That is significant movement in the interest rate sphere, and this has happened because interest rates adjusted for the revised labor data that came in late last week, showing that America's jobs market was a little bit weaker than originally thought across the last few months. And with the Fed's dual mandate being labor and inflation is getting awfully close to that 2% that they want to see, and labor came in significantly lower than they thought it was the last couple of months, and so that encourages them to drop interest rates, and so the mortgage market priced that in accordingly, even though the Fed has yet to meet and discuss a drop of the federal funds interest rate. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions about how any of this works, where I'm getting getting the numbers, why they are what they are, why I post them the way I do, feel free to hit me in the comments. I'm gonna be happy to respond as always. If you or anybody you know is looking to move here in Utah in the coming months, I hope you're comfortable reaching out to me. You can reach out to me right here. In the video description, I always have at the very bottom my email and my phone number. You can reach out to me directly, and I hope you're comfortable doing so. I'm gonna be happy to work with you or whoever it is you know. And of course, if this is the kind of information that you wanna be able to stay on top of, I'm telling you, you will not find a better way than to hit that subscribe and stay up on it with me from week to week. Thanks for watching this time, guys. We'll see you next one. Bye-bye, bye-bye.